Let's go deep today with some quantum theory, shall we? My take on it. I think I'm pretty well right. Before we get into it, if you haven't seen my sites before, this is flat earth knowledge. It's all explained. Check out my other videos. Push like if you can. Apparently if you push like you get more, it gets out more. Because my information is not really getting out there unless someone happens to come along from another site and recommends it. So thanks to all those guys. There's the flat earth model. Centre north vacuum, black hole down there, electrical circuit back down this way, magnetic circuit comes up, counter force, electrical is created. Does it look like nature? Eh? Where's the sun born? Does that look like the brain? It's just solar winds apparently, but it's the magnetic field of Earth. It's the way it works. Inside the human brain we have the female reproductive organ system, the shape in our brain. Check that out. Flat Earth. Stroke rotor, it looks like works like a magnetic induction system. Spiraling up to the north, Polaris in here. You see there's rotations out here. Winding back into the tropics. Down through the earth. Just like this. Well, I was just watching a science video all about quantum theory. And of course that brings in the double slit experiment, which made me think. It wasn't hard. What I've said before in my previous videos, everything in this world is a duality. Everything works as a duality. There is a third entity, but that's the... you've got to be really thinking about that one. But I won't go into that right now. But everything, even in the Noah story, you go into the ark 2 by 2. This is the ark. This is half. We're looking at half. There's only one ark, the main ark. Everything in there is 2 by 2. There's 2 there. Negative, positive flow. Magnetic flow upward, electrical counterforce downward to create the electrical circuit. Everything's a duality. So in the double slit experiment, when they're firing electrons and trying to understand their disbursement behind the slits, they're missing the fact there's a counterforce or a duality in the system. One going that way, something has to come this way. In our world, I've shown you the 2 sky rotations, south and north. You get your star trails. Well, that in our world looks like a wave function, doesn't it? But you've got to think, in our physical world, it's inverted to the world we live in. The makeup of creation. It's inverted. Like we're down here moving from A to B, when in fact everything has already been created. It's already there. But we're just, we're down here. We think on the left side of the brain, and we're just, we're pretty dumb. We're born into darkness, as they say, trying to get from A to B. And you have to find the truth along the way. So here we are thinking, gee, what's happening from A to B? Not realising that the world's created already. So just got me thinking about this wave function. You're trying to determine whether it's a particle or wave-like. But and how things get from A to B so fast. Well, this is reality. This is the world we live in. There's the wave function. So we're watching this wave, thinking along the lines that the wave's heading this direction, not realising the dualities come back this way. So there are your particle points. There's the particle points, and here's the wave function. But instead of going from A to B, it's already there. It's hard to get your head around it. That's the way it is. And then it made me think, well, hey, bloody hell, we've seen that with Wheeler's magnetic flux with his ferrocell lights. Take away this ring magnet, he's getting intersection points here, right? You'll see these highlighted spots of light. Well, that's something to do with our tropic zone in our physical world, where the sun and that sits, and the moon and that sit around there. It's all related. Do you understand that? It's already there. But in our physical side, it's getting there. It's already there. You know what I mean? What else? There's something else I was going to mention. Tropics, the sun. Oh, the sun. I'm not sure if I put this in a previous video, but the sun is made up of the frequency. So here is made up of layers. Atmospheric pressures and layers. And this is what I think, just quickly off the top of my head, got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, there's a 7th somewhere. Short wavelength, long wavelength. The sun is created. Within the various wavelengths and light spectrum. So down here we get the sun. So from there, there we see the sun. From its original position, its direction, because it's short wave, so right at the centre you got purple, blue, directional, shooting out, turning from the centre of the earth, firing it out into the tropic region. This moist, dense area just somehow contains it as the hologram. In here and moves it around. From here it fires and moves it around because it's firing the blue and scattering the rest of the spectrum into that spot. We're here looking up. There's our sun. But it's all within your own horizon. Like in relation to where the sun is actually aiming and where you're standing around here. And this is, you've got to realise the sun never shrinks or grows, it's always the same size, just depends on season maybe. Season, because if the sun's, you're in the south and the sun's come down in perihelion, I suppose it might appear, well you're looking back this way, it may appear bigger, but it shouldn't change shape because the source is back there, just reflecting all the way around in there. This is what we get here. This is red shift, blue shift. Move away, red shift, blue shift. That's the sun. Frequencies. This is where they found this out way back in early 1900. Tesla knew it. This is where the satellites came from, and the idea that it's fool the people and say we've got satellites with big wings floating around up here in La La Land, when they know certain frequencies, certain bands can bounce off which layer. So you've got the whole range up here. Be one range. I don't understand all the frequency ranges myself, but that's what could be going on. I'll put $1 on it. You're still getting it bouncing off. Get the right frequency band, you're going to bounce off this layer. Different frequency band, you bounce off this layer. There's nothing floating around up there all by itself. Well, we can do if it's full of air, I suppose. Helium or something. It'll only stay up there for so long. Because earlier on in the century, when they sent stuff up, it'd all spin out and fall back down near the equator, the tropics. Look it up. Send it up here and go down there, because everything comes down. What goes up must come down. Where'd that come from? What goes up and stays up all of a sudden? Crazy. Curved space-time. This is what everything's all about. Everything is all about spirals and wave forms. We have it down here on Earth. You see the waves? Drop a pebble in the pond, see the waves. We've seen the spirals, tornadoes, whirlpools, vortexes everywhere. And then we have the another thing. Like I said at the beginning, where everything's inverted. You've seen in alchemy, you've seen mirrors, eagles facing two ways. There's always a projected image, or a mirror image, or a duality. And let's take a ring magnet, for instance. You take a ring magnet, that's the hole in the middle. You throw some iron sand on it, you're going to get a mound of iron sand like this. What we need to realise is we live inside this flux. We live in here. We can't get out there. We can't see what's in here. This is centre north. I don't think you can actually fly. Maybe you can, I'm not too sure. You cannot fly in this zone. You fall out of the sky because you've got the vacuum there. If you come, well, it's so elevated, that's the problem. It's so far up. Just imagine we live inside this flux field here. But our realm is the inverted to that. So what would be inverted to this? You take this out and put all the flux out here. We're in here. We're in the vacuum now. We're not in here. That's where we come from. Everything is created in there, from the vacuum. This is what existence is all about. Being at rest, vacuum, nothing going on. Meditation, you go to a place where there's just nothing going on. And you just free yourself. It's the secret to life. It's all in there. Now our whole existence is created within there. It's like a memory, a thought from the eye of Ra. The sun, we come from the eye. Nothing. It's all created in there. So we live inside the vacuum. And all the flux and action is out here. I haven't put much thought into that right now while I'm doing this video, so I won't expand on it and I'll start losing myself and then sound really dumb. So imagine that. Inverted image, just like I showed you with the wave and the particle function. So get your head around that. Cheers.